Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Avid Shows Fantasy Football, and we've got another mock draft video for you guys. It is August 1st. We are now talking redraft season, so hopefully these videos have been helping you guys kind of see what's going on in the draft world, see what's going on in your mock drafts, and potentially helping you get a winning team this upcoming season. Now, we're doing the 107 particular spot. If you guys are in other spots, whether it be ones upcoming or if you have not already seen, make sure you guys are subscribed to check out those videos as well. So let's go jump right into this. All right, as you can see here, guys, we are now in the 107 spot. Now, this is full PPR, half PPR as well. If this is tight end premium or super flex, of course, the draft will go a little differently. Of course, you can always ask us in the comments. We'll be able to give you guys some suggestions of who you should be going after. So let's get this started. Early on in the drafts, you should be seeing wide receivers pretty heavy, maybe some running backs, and then, of course, in the mix, you might get a tight end here or there, which is like Travis Kelce. Now, I'm kind of surprised to see Travis Kelce this early. I've been seeing him more into the 107 to 110 mark in most 12-man leagues. So it is kind of a surprise here. Now, Jamar Chase at the 101 is definitely a surprise. Now, with obviously the news with Joe Burrow, that may change some people, but this is a mock draft. Mock drafts don't always go based off of trends that's going on in training camps, whether it be holdouts or anything like that. So it does have a little bit of a difference. Now, me looking at this, I can get a player like Bijan Robinson and get a really good running back in the beginning, or I can go play it safe and get a Stephon Diggs or a Tyreek Hill. Now, in this case, I'm actually going to go Bijan Robinson and take the risk. And I don't even know if it's going to be a risk because I think Bijan is going to be an absolute stud. He was a stud in college. He has that potential to be that Ezekiel Elliott, that Barkley that came out of college and just dominated his first year. So with that said, I'm hoping that's what happens here. Now, you see all the top wide receivers go pretty quickly. Then you see Mahomes, which is not a surprise here. Looking at this roster, I can either even this team out and go Garrett Wilson or Jalen Waddle, which isn't a bad pick at all. Get a really good wide receiver, especially in PPR. And these guys can have top 10 capability if their quarterbacks obviously perform like they should. Or I can get a Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry obviously being a top running back that if he does perform really well, now that he's got DeAndre Hopkins on the side, another year in Burks, he has the potential of having to maybe see a little bit lighter boxes and Derrick Henry goes off. For me, I'm actually going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go and play it safe with Garrett Wilson here because I think Garrett Wilson would actually be a really good pick in this particular spot, especially in this offense that, again, you've got a new quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. You've got, a new offense. Breece Hall should be back. There's a lot going on that I think is only going to be a positive. Now, I could have gone, again, Derrick Henry, which would not have been a bad pick for you guys if you had done really two good running backs, but I think I can get another running back later, like a Najee Harris here, or maybe a little bit later on in the dead zone, the RB's dead zone. So for me, I'm actually going to go Najee Harris. I think having a really good running back opposite of Bijan plus Gary Wilson, I think starts off my team really strong in this aspect, which will help me out even more. I really like this 107 spot. I'm not crazy about it, but it's better than I think, 105 or 106. But again, everyone likes their favorites. So looking at this, I can either go Deebo Samuel, which I'm not completely sold on. I can go Hawkinson, which is, again, a really good option at tight end. I'm actually going to go Justin Fields. His rushing capability and potential is what's going to help bring this team together. If he does anything like he did last season, plus the addition of DJ Moore, hopefully a healthy Mooney, Cole Kmet, things like that, I think Fields can definitely squeak into the top 5 spot as a quarterback in fantasy. So again, I really like the start of this team. I think this team has a really good potential of being a winning team. Now to fill out the rest of the roster, I can either go really good, maybe a nice little Christian Watson. There's some potential there. He showed a lot of flashes. We'll see what happens with Jordan Love. Maybe the reliable Chris Godwin, even though Baker Mayfield is there, I think Chris Godwin is still a really good receiver. But in my case, I'm going to go George Kittle, fill out most of this roster here. I know I need another wide receiver, but I like George Kittle in this particular spot because I think he still can do really well. If you don't grab Kittle, don't worry. There's still really good tight ends in this draft that he could get a little bit later, but I'm going to take him there. Now, I've got to fill out the rest of this team. I can either, again, go with the best player on the board, which Brandon Ayuk is a really good one. Mike Williams I really like, or Rachaad White to fill out my flex and backups. In my case, you guys know me. If you watch these videos, I'm going to go Brandon Ayuk because I really like what he did last season. I really like the rapport that he has with Brock Purdy. He's expected to be the starting quarterback. And I think he's really the best receiver, not Deebo Samuel. I know Deebo always goes ahead of him. You're more than welcome to take him. I don't necessarily want to draft Deebo Samuel this high. I'd rather have Brandon Ayuk in this spot. So looking at this roster, I feel pretty good. And we're not even talking buys. I know obviously you got to fill up bye weeks, but again, sometimes the best thing to do is grab the really good players and then worry about bye weeks later on in waivers. So with that said, looking at this roster, I can go Mike Evans, I can go George Pickens, or I can go David Montgomery as far as a flex. I'm going to go Mike Evans because I think he's one of the better receivers in this game who does not get the respect, and I know his ADP is dropping because of Baker Mayfield. Yes, he's had Jameis Winston. Winston obviously is a great deep threat. Then he had Tom Brady. At this point, I feel more and more confident that Mike Evans can still be that 1,000-yard receiver, even with Baker Mayfield, so I'll take him as the flex. So again, don't hesitate. What I really like in this particular spot is I can still grab a really good player like Quentin Johnston, who I think looks really good. Brandon Cooks, who I really like in this Dallas offense. But I'm actually going to go James Cook as a nice little flex play. Again, a running back that could potentially be 1 or 2 down, maybe a 3rd down back. We'll see how this goes with Damian Harris. But I like James Cook. I think he's got some potential in this Buffalo Bills offense. They have not signed or traded for a running back, and we'll see how that goes with the whole, obviously, Jonathan Taylor news and Josh Jacobs and all these other disgruntled running backs, which they very well should be. But I like James Cook in that particular spot. So with these, I've got 5 spots left on my bench and then a kicker. So I'm going to fill out, again, with the best particular players in this particular spot. So for me, I'm going to take the risk of going Rashad Penny. I know we don't talk about him enough on this channel. When healthy, he has shown really good flashes. Again, when healthy. Grabbing him in the 9th to 10th round, it's not bad. At this point, you should have already filled your team up with really your starters, and now you're filling up with the bench. I don't think Rashad Penny in the 9th or 10th spot is a bad one. I know obviously DeAndre Swift went there, but DeAndre Swift they got for a really cheap price. They paid some money from Rashad Penny. So I think this is going to be a really well-mixed team. Obviously, you still got to deal with Jalen Hurts being the goal line, I guess you would say stealer at that point. He loves to take the ball into the end zone. But I still think Rashad Penny is going to be the RB1 with Swift being sprinkled in and the outside as well. So looking at these particular players, I could go backup tight end. I'm actually going to go Allen Lazard. I think he's going to shine really well in this offseason opposite of Garrett Wilson. And I get it. I have Garrett Wilson. I understand that. But I still like Allen Lazard because if for any reason one of these 2 receivers were to get hurt, hopefully not, they're both going to shine really well in this Jets offense. So I'll take Allen Lazard. Now I'm actually going to go Daniel Jones in the backup spot. It's a little early for me. I don't normally take a quarterback this early in the backup. I'd rather fill out the rest of my team. But I like the rest of my team, and I like Daniel Jones as a nice little backup piece because he is a great rushing player, just like Justin Fields. Now, I didn't really, again, I looked at best particular player. I could have gone and grabbed Jared Goff, who I think is still really good. Daniel Jones is on week 13, and so is Justin Fields. So that probably is an early mistake for me by not paying attention. But again, I'd rather have a better player, and I think he's got that potential. So looking at the rest of this, I've got 2 more spots. I'm going to grab Tank Bigsby. I think Bigsby is going to be a touchdown machine for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like him a lot. Very high on him this season. So I'm going to go and grab him. Again, I think if Etienne were to go down, Bigsby is going to be a nice, strong RB1. Hopefully Etienne has a healthy season, but I think Bigsby really is going to be the guy who's going to steal a lot of those touchdowns. I'm going to fill out 1 more wide receiver, and I'm going to go Romeo Doubs. I really like Romeo Doubs. I think he's going to have some really good big plays. I like what he's got so far in the camp. Again, this is camp. I get it's one-on-ones, but I still like where he's at, and I like Romeo Doubs a lot there. Now, I don't have to deep dive into that one. I think a lot of you guys saw some flashes last season, opposite of Christian Watson, who I know a lot of people are really high on. Now I got to get my kicker. I'm going to go get my kicker from McManus. Again, Jacksonville scores a lot. They're going to get down the field. They have a really good offense. He's going to get me some points, so I'll take him right there. So that is my mock draft for the 107. Again, if you guys have questions or if you guys really like this team or maybe you didn't like this team, hit us up in the comments down below. I'd love to see your guys' strategies or feedback. Or again, if you are drafting this weekend, maybe later on this particular month, if you have questions of who you should be going after in your particular spot, let us know. Hit those comments. We'd love to get you guys some strategies and maybe some players you should be looking after. If you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you guys are subscribed and the notification bell is on. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button while you are here. Share the video with others, maybe not your league mates, but at least others to let them know and get them ready for this season. Make sure you guys check out our other ranking videos. Make sure you check out our mock draft videos. And of course, if you're in Dynasty, there's a lot of great content. So again, subscribe, like, and I'll check you guys out next time.